Okay.
Hey guys, so with all of the crazy news going on in the world right now, I figured we could use some positive news. So as of today, Sony has officially released the specs for the PlayStation 5. The only negative is it seems to have been presented by a guy that I have convinced myself personally is a robot. I mean, just look at the dude. Yeah, definitely a robot. Anyways, by the sounds of it, we are going to have a lot of time moving forward to be trapped in the house and probably playing a lot of video games, watching a lot of movies. I thought this was the perfect time with all of the news on the new consoles and stuff coming out to give you guys my top picks for the PlayStation 4 best exclusives that have released from the beginning of the console release to, we're coming up on the end. I'm sure a lot of you have already played these games, but if you haven't, I just wanted to give you my perspective on what I thought about them. All right, and finally, to start off my top 5 absolute favorite titles that have come out on PS4 that are exclusives. In the number 5 position, we're looking at Detroit Become Human. This game is about 3 androids who break free of their programming, and they basically have a mind for their own now. And it does follow kind of the storytelling path, kind of like a Telltale game, where you make decisions and that interferes with their destiny or the end of the game. So this is one of those games with multiple endings, and it is breathtakingly beautiful. The story is great. I think it personally has some pretty good replay value because it keeps you interested enough to want to actually jump back in and find out what those other endings could have been. I think this game is an absolute must for anyone who owns a PS4. It just made me want to keep playing more. Alright guys, coming in at number 4 on the list is going to be Bloodborne, and for those of you who have already played this game or any of the Dark Souls games, no, this is not for the faint of heart. It is extremely difficult, but that's what makes it so satisfying once you finally beat the part that you're on. This game takes place in a Victorian type kind of gothic world. It's very dark, it's very gritty, and you are facing gigantic bosses that are going to piss you off. It's basically one of those games where if you die, you reset to your last checkpoint and you lose some of your gear. Honestly, if you're just looking for a nice, long, good challenge while you're stuck at home, this is a great game to pick up. Alright, coming in at my number 3 on the list is SpiderMan, and my god, is this the definition of a perfect comic book game. Honestly, if you're just a fan of superheroes and you have not played this game yet, I command you to buy this on PlayStation right now and play it, because you will not be disappointed. The characters are great, the fighting is great. This is some of the best, if not the best, web slinging that there's ever been. Really, the moral of the story here is this game just does a great job at making you feel like you are Spider-Man. And I'm sorry, there's just no excuse to not play this game. It is an absolute must buy. Alright, and as I roll into the last 2 on my list for the best exclusives on PS4, I was very conflicted with this decision because I love these games both so much that I almost kind of think it's probably a tie, but at the end of the day, this is a decision I made. Coming in at number 2 is God of War, and this is pretty much a reboot of the series as a whole. I highly recommend this game, and this is a game that can be played technically without playing the other 3, but you can get the God of War collection, all 3 of them, on PS4, and I highly, highly, highly recommend, if you want the best playing experience, to go play God of War 1, 2, and 3, and then play God of War, the reboot. You absolutely will not be disappointed. They are some of the best games ever made. Kratos is one of the greatest characters ever created. Overall, the story is excellent. The graphics in the new game are fantastic. Great controls as usual. It's just overall like a really badass, cool experience. Basically, Kratos is just one badass motherfucker. Alright, so we have finally made it to my number 1 PlayStation 4 exclusive that came out, and that is Uncharted 4: A Thief's End. Starring one of my all-time favorite video game characters ever created, Nathan Drake. This game is pretty much as close as you're ever gonna get to playing an Indiana Jones game, and I personally think it's actually one of the greatest games ever made. Between storytelling, just the graphics, the mechanics of the game, everything. Like, there's so much heart poured into this game. It seriously crushed me inside when I finished it because I knew that there just wasn't gonna be any more after that. It's just the way that the Uncharted series as a whole has connected you to the characters that makes it so special. And the fact that Sony gave us the opportunity to play all the way to the end of Nathan Drake's storyline is fantastic to me. And I'm gonna say the same thing I said in the last one. This is Uncharted 4 that I'm talking about. You can go get the Uncharted collection 1, 2, and 3 for very cheap, And in fact, they actually gave it away for free on PlayStation Plus, so you might already have it. These games still hold up to this day. They're so good. You will not be disappointed by playing them, and I think that everyone who has a PlayStation needs to play these games. The Uncharted series as a whole, to me, has personally been a console seller in my opinion. PS3 and PS4, it's totally worth getting it just to play these games. But luckily you don't have to just play these games because Sony has an insane lineup of exclusives that they have. I mean, I didn't even make a dent in my list here. There's so much to offer, and that's why I'm making this video. I'm excited to see what they have going forward with the PlayStation 5 and their exclusive lineup. And then I do apologize about the not so pleasant looking backdrop. I am in the process of moving. I move in a couple of days, and I don't really have a whole lot set up right now, so that should change in a week or two. But as usual, I appreciate everyone who checks out this video and checks out the channel. Once again, my name is Brendan, and if you want to see anything from tech, games, and movies, and anything nerdy in between, make sure to subscribe to Digital Cynics. Peace.